$2,300 to $4 million in profit. The guest we have on today has one of the craziest journeys I've ever personally gotten to hear, and there is so much to learn from it. He's a trader, entrepreneur, and one of the smartest, most energy-filled people that I've had the pleasure with talking with, and I am so excited for you guys to hear his story. On the Team Bull podcast, we bring on the best traders, the best entrepreneurs, and the best, most valuable people for you to learn from, make money with, and level up your life. So if that sounds like your future, if you want to learn how to make millions, if you want to learn life-changing skills, and if you want to learn from real successful people, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, tap in, and join us every single week for our show and other free solid education. Now with that said, it's time to get into the fun stuff. As I said before, we have an insane person with us, and I'm so excited to introduce you to him. Welcome to the show, Sean.
Hey, thank you so much. And first off, this place is huge, absolutely incredible. Sitting here with the legend, Jdun. Thank you so much for allowing me to come out here.
Dude, thank you so much for coming, bro. We've known each other online for what now, like 2 years?
Probably like 2 years. And, you know, when you hit me up and said, come on out here, I respect that so much because for all the listeners who don't know, Jdun has his own thing. I have my own thing. And there's so much kind of competition. I feel like there's so much rivalry when it comes to trading. Some people want to help others. Some people don't want to help others. And the fact is, you are one of, if not maybe the nicest guy in the trading community to be able to help others grow, be able to help traders grow, and just be able to really help people that want to be able to level up their life, as they said. So, you know, having me out here in Denver, Colorado in your beautiful studio. Thank you so much, bro.
Hey, thank you so much for coming here again, man. And on what you were just saying, not only are, I think you take the title for nicest guy. I might come in second, but you were one of the only people in this space I have ever seen, we're going to get into this later, but that has actually verified that you've made millions of dollars in profits. You've showed broker statements. You've done live logins. And that was why I wanted so badly for you to get out here. You know, there's no competition in this space, at least for, you know, us that truly want to help others. And just want to shout that out that, you know, before we get started, that you've proved yourself time and time again. And I can't wait for everyone to learn and listen to your story here.
Yeah, well, that's like the biggest thing. And I definitely understand that. From a viewer perspective, or for someone who wants to learn how to trade stocks, I think one of the biggest things is have transparency. And that's something that we can both agree on. If I'm going to trade, I want people to know that it's real. I want people to actually be able to watch me, follow me, and be able to actually grow from me. There's way too many people out there that do what we do, and they do it for the wrong reasons. I mean, with every single niche or whatever business, there's always going to be bad apples within the good apples. And that's why every single day I do show my P&Ls. I live stream absolutely every single trade. Every day when I start live streaming, you see my entries, you see my exits, you see my calls out. Everything is live. And that's just because I really want to give the viewer absolutely everything they need to be able to become a successful trader. I personally don't just want to send out a newsletter and say, buy this, because where's the education on that? Like, what I want to do is actually show you. I think the best way to learn is visually. And I think, you know, you could probably say the same thing, is that if you want to learn how to be successful in something, I want to see someone else be able to do it. If someone, again, does great with it, what were the steps that they took? If someone did bad with it, well, what did they do wrong that I could do better? So every single day when I'm streaming, you're either taking my good things or you're taking my bad things, because I'm going to be transparent. I lose on trades at times. That's what happens in trading. It's not every day that I'm going to have a green day. That's literally impossible. And when you see people come out with green days every single day, it's a whole bunch of baloney. Like, that's never going to happen. So red days are, I think, just as important or even more important than your green days, because how much do you actually even learn from your red days? I mean, or your green days, I should say. Your green days are going to be the days that you can celebrate and you can be happy what you've gone through, but your red days are the days that you actually learn to become better. When I get a nice win, I get a great bounce play, I get a great breakout, I say to myself, great, you know, the stuff that I studied is working. And when I have a red day, I'm saying to myself, what did I do wrong? And now I'm actually getting an education from it. So the thing is, the red days are even better to me. I know, again, it's not really fun to say that, but the red days actually bring in more value. And I think that's why so many new traders quit in the beginning, because they have those red days and they see them as, hey, well, now I don't have any money. Now, again, I'm broke. Now, again, this is all one big scam. It's nothing I want to do. That's why it's so important to train beforehand. Like, I paper traded for a year before I even traded real money. And I know, again, we can talk about the differences between paper trading and non-paper trading, and if you should do that as a brand new trader, but you will make mistakes when you first start on off. I think that's a fact, right? You know, when you first start off, didn't you make a lot of blatant mistakes?
A ton. And with what you just said, I think that we are probably the only two traders on YouTube, Instagram, whatever, that will say like, hey, you're going to lose trades. You're going to lose a lot of trades. You know, trading isn't just about winning, right? I have this quote I like to say: you can show me your losses and I'll tell you whether you're going to be a good trader. I don't care about your wins. You know, you can make 100K in one day. Cool. But if you lose 200K the next day, you're toast, right? So with everything that you just said, by the way, love the energy. It's going to be a crazy podcast. I want to go into everything you just said and how you've been trading for 8 going on 9 years, correct?
Correct.
I want to start from the beginning of Sean. You know, you start your first account with $2,300. You're like, hey, you know, this trading stocks thing, cool. You know, like I want to hear how you heard about it, how you learned. And, you know, we want to hear the story of Sean. So please tell us.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, honestly, let's just take it way back to high school. And I feel like there's going to be that pivotal point in every single person's life. At every single person's life, we are going to realize one day or one moment that we're not living up to our truest potential. I feel like that could be after some people may go through a couple of years of partying at college. Some people may just be sitting and playing video games. Some people may just be not living the life they want to. But I don't know, I definitely feel like you probably have it. There's some sort of internal desire inside of me that I feel like, and I know that I can do more than just sit at that 9-to-5 job. Like I do, and I'm not trying to sound cocky when I say it, but I do feel like I'm special. I feel like I can go beyond what most people think is possible. And that's what I want to do. Like my biggest fear in life, I think, is turning into what people said I was going to be. That's never what I want to do. I never want to turn into that person that teachers told me, that people told me, that even, again, close friends would say, oh, you're probably going to amount to that. I want to go beyond people's expectations and blow their fucking minds every single time that I trade, every single time I do a business, every single time I step into the room. And the thing is, it really comes down to understanding that point. So I've had amazing parents in my life, and I give them all the respect to have that influence and guidance to me. And both my parents were teachers, and they worked extremely hard. And this is something that has always stuck with me. Both my parents, they actually want a better future for their students. That's what they want. They stay up late. They actually give out homework, not to be a mean teacher, but to actually make them a better student, to have them a better future. And my mom, I remember when I used to wake on up going to high school, she would stay up late grading papers. I'd wake up and she'd still be grading papers. And the reason is because she really wants the best future for these kids. But at the end of the day, she got paid the same amount as a teacher who rolled in a TV and said, hey, we're going to be watching movies. And I used to feel bad as a 17, 16-year-old kid. I'm saying, how is my mom putting in all this work and getting paid as the fun teacher who just rolled out a movie screen and said, hey, you know what? We're just going to watch movies. And from that point, it really stuck with me, which I said to myself, I never want to have a job that I sign that dotted line. I never want to have a contract where it says, no matter how hard I work, I'm getting paid the same amount as that person over there. Because screw that person over there. That person doesn't work like I work. That person has no idea how hard I'm going to be working. I want to get paid off my efforts. And that's from now, that's in the past, that's in the future. I will always work some sort of job, if that's business, if that's entrepreneurship, if that's trading, if that's real estate. If you see me 10 years laying in a gutter, that's my fault. That's my decision. If you see me 10 years from now driving a Lamborghini in a huge house, that's because I made those decisions. And I think that's how, honestly, this whole entire society would be 10 times better, where you get paid based off, again, how hard you work. Because we will really see, all right, hey, let's see you again who actually has that mindset, who's actually going to be able to make it. So the moment that I, again, discovered that, I started giving my absolute all. My dad, again, always raised me basically saying, if we're going to, again, give 100%, let's give a full 100%. Let's not give 50%. Giving your first 50% in anything is extremely easy. Oh, I want to become fit. 50% of getting fit is going to the gym and sitting on your phone. Oh, I want to learn how to become a stock trader. 50% is, again, figuring out how to open up a brokerage, depositing money, and that's it. 50% of anything you do. The first 50% is easy. Show up. The other 50% is actually the work. So I remember when you played basketball in high school. I started playing basketball back in, elementary school. And I remember being an elementary kid. My dad he was a coach. He was a coach in all sports, high school coach. And we used to go and he would say, Sean, we're here right now. If you don't want to be here, let's just go home. But if we are already here, we might as well make the most out of it. So he would roll the balls on out. We're already here. Let's get this shit done. Let's actually do it happen. So that's if I'm going to, again, teach, if I'm going to live stream, if I'm going to trade, if I'm going to do a business, I'm going to go for past 100%. Why in the world are we giving 50%? And I think that's one of the biggest issues and biggest problems that, again, people are facing. They want to be traders. They say they want to be traders. They don't want to work to be a trader. They don't want to work to be an entrepreneur. They don't want to work to own a business. What are they doing?
Biggest problem in trading, man. People... And Instagram and YouTube make this way worse. They come on, see someone, makes 5-10 grand. I'm sure that happened with you. You get on YouTube or whatever, maybe not back in like 2015 when you started, but somehow you're like, people can make big money trading.
Yeah.
And most people come in and they're like, oh, they made 10 grand a day. Sean made 10 grand a day. I guess I can do that, a week from now. That's just not how it works. Like, that's just not, it couldn't, maybe, and you know what, maybe you do come in and you make 10 grand tomorrow. In my opinion, worst thing that can happen for a trader. Making money right off the rip, thinking, oh, this is easy. This is fine. I don't have to work for this. Because what happens 99, maybe even 100% of the time, trader comes in, thinks this is easy, makes 10 grand. I promise you they will end up giving it back most of the times.
Absolutely. And I think, a great analogy, or the way that I like to think about this the majority of the time, is with every kind of professional job, a job that I think is honorable, a job that is higher class. I'm going to think about doctors. I'm going to think about lawyers. I'm going to think about surgeons, and I'm going to throw stockbrokers up there. If you want to be a lawyer, you go to school for 8 years. You want to be a doctor, you go to school for 8 years. If you want to be a nurse, you go to school for 4 years, sometimes 6 years. Where in the world is it that we open up a Robinhood account with $2,000 and then we start getting mad when we're not successful after 3 days? And like, where in the world does this happen? When you are, again, a brand new trader and you, again, open up your account, you are walking in syllabus week, freshman year of your college career. The fact is, people, again, are saying, oh, I'm not successful after 3 months. 3 months? What do you think is going to happen in 3 months? It's like, after 6 months, 12 months, whatever, we start seeing results.
So speaking of that timeline, I want to stay on the story of Sean too with this. When you first came into trading, did you have that mind? Like, when you first funded that first account with $2,300, walk us through how that went, some of the wins, some of the losses, and how you navigated to be able to grow that into, what is now you've made over 4 million. But what were the first steps? Like, what were the first things you did? What kind of stocks do you trade? Like, tell us more about that.
Yeah. So at this time, I went to college, and I was in college at the time, and I didn't have $2,300. I found stock trading throughout the internet, and it was just starting to get really big. It seemed like, now day trading's everywhere, option trading's everywhere, but it just started to kind of get really big, and I started really falling in love with it. And the how I found it is I still had kind of everything that I was talking about before of, okay, I want to be successful. I just don't know how to be successful. I want to be able to make money. I just don't know how. I went over to my the library at my school, and I just typed in on Google, how to get rich. That's what I typed in.
How to get rich.
How to get rich.
Nice.
Yeah, how to get rich. 3 things came on up. Start a business, invest in real estate, or invest into the stock market. Those are the 3 ways to get rich. And even though that is a kind of blatant how to get rich type of thing, it's true. If you think about how people are extremely wealthy, nearly all of them either are in the real estate game or in the stock market game or have their own businesses. Most people have all 3 of those things. Some people have 2 of those things. And that is something that started my trading career. So I thought to myself, okay, hey, let me try to be able to start a business. First business that I ever started was I actually sold t-shirts. I sold t-shirts for homecoming. It used to be a thing that you would go on out and you would make a t-shirt for homecoming, and you would sit there and try to sell them. I took, again, $1,500, and I was able to make $4,000 just selling t-shirts. I actually got, I got the prettiest girl in campus to wear my t-shirt. I gave her like $500, and I got the best looking guy on campus and got him about $500. And those were my marketing tools. And everyone came out and just bought these t-shirts, which was absolutely fantastic.
That's awesome.
That was around sophomore year or maybe late freshman year that I started doing that. Then so I really liked the business aspect. I thought about real estate, but real estate, it's very tough to get involved in real estate when you really don't have that much money. Very difficult to get involved in real estate. And then the last thing I started thinking to myself was stock trading, stock market. And that's where I said to myself, hey, this is possible for someone who has a very small amount. This is possible. And I read stories about people, turning $2,000 in their dorm room all the way up to $100,000, $4,000 to $200,000, whatever it may be. I was inspired. I was motivated. I was passionate. And I feel like everyone gets that passion when they find stock trading. They're like, I can do this. This is something that, is within my world that I can, again, figure out. So when I first started trading, I didn't have, the $4,000 from homecoming. I used that to be able to live throughout college, probably blew it on dumb stuff. And I said to myself, all right, I want to be able to start trading, but I didn't have that much money. So I paper traded. All I did the entire first year of my trading was just paper trading. I did 12 months of this. I made so many different mistakes. People ask me all the time, have you ever blown up an account? I've never blown up an account before, but I have, again, lost hundreds of thousands of dollars of fake money. That whole entire first year, I sucked. People look at me now and they say, "Oh, Dek, how are you so successful in your trading?" I was awful my first 6 months, just like everyone's awful their first 6 months.
Yep.
There's no way around it. I don't know why people think they're all of a sudden going to open up this Robinhood account or whatever it may be and all of a sudden be super successful. It makes zero sense. No one just wakes up absolutely jacked out of their mind. They, again, go to the gym. They have the right diet. No one, again, just walks onto an NFL team. They, again, play high school, college. They go through summer camps. They do everything they have to do. I don't know why, again, we think we're just going to be super successful when we stock trade. So I paper traded, lost a ton of money when I first started, and then I started being able to gain a little bit of success. After about probably, I would say 4 months in, 5 months in, started getting some win streaks. Then 6 months, 7 months in, started to get some win streaks.
Of paper trading.
Okay. Correct. And that gained me confidence. Now, I know there's a lot of listeners right now. I know there's a lot of viewers right now that are probably thinking to themselves at this time, paper trading is pointless. You know why? I don't feel any sort of emotions. Paper trading is not to, again, make you the best trader in the world. It's supposed to give you experience, not, again, be able to control your emotions. I'll tell every single person right now how to be successful in the stock market. Do paper trading until you have 3 months of wins. 3 months of success. That means you're going to go through different market conditions. You're going to go through, again, different opportunities of slow days, hot days. You'll go through an earnings season. You'll see, again, different things on different setups and such. And if you can't do 3 months of winning in paper trading, why would you, again, be able to have success in real trading when you have all these other variables involved, such as your emotions? That makes zero sense whatsoever. So you should be able to do 3 months in a row of how to be successful in paper trading. Then we apply emotions. How do we apply emotions? Just like a muscle, just like our mind right here, we build it on up. If we're benching, we start small, we add weight as our muscles grow, and every single day, every single month, we look back, we say, wow, I'm benching 285, 315, we keep getting bigger and bigger. So when I first start, again, trading money, I start with 50 shares. You're not going to make anything off 50 shares, especially if it's like a little penny stock. Yes, it would be a ton of money if we're talking about like the SPY or something, but I'm talking about like just do 1 share, 2 shares, 10 shares. Don't try to make $1 million. We're just going to get our heart pumping a little bit, get our mind going, get our hunt pumping, get the adrenaline flowing, because now we're saying there's real money on the line. Then once that calms down a little bit, now we go up towards double that, 10 shares, 20 shares. And I'm talking about not doing this all in the same day. Do 10 shares for a week, 2 weeks, calm down. Go to 20 shares, week and a half, calm down. Next thing you know, you have the experience of paper trading. Now you have your emotions under control. Now, again, we've also been able to build our share tolerance on up, and now we're going to have more success in our trading. That is how you want to be successful. Not, I saw, again, Jdun make $100,000 in a day. I'm, again, going to go ahead and deposit my money. Jdun, why am I not a millionaire? Right? It makes zero sense.
I've had people say that like verbatim too. That's the bad part. Sure, you have too.
I've had that, too many times. And that's what happens. It's just, you have to be willing to work for it. And if you're not willing to put in the work, you're not going to be successful. It really just comes down to that.
So you had your first year of paper trading. First year, 100% paper trading.
Yes.
You finally put that money in your account. You're like, yep, I'm ready to go. And I'm very curious to hear how you started with that, how you managed to build it up. Because a lot of times what I've heard from traders is, they'll be like, Jdun, I was doing so good paper trading. I was crushing it. And then all of a sudden I started real trading and I just got blown out of the water. So do you have any tips for our listeners on how, you finally fund that account? You finally start, building it on up. Like, how do you get over that hump of the psychology? And how did you personally build your first account up?
So the hardest thing is that day one where you say to yourself, it's game time. I've been working hard on this. It's time to actually trade. I remember I would be walking to class and I'd be thinking to myself, man, I'm going to get interviewed on CNBC one day. They're going to say Sean Dekmar, trader who has never lost before. Going to be the first trader to win every single day. First trade I made, lost on it. First trade I got a brutal wake-up call. Nope. $2,300 down towards, again, $2,200. So $100 wiped out just like that. And if you're in college, losing $100, it's like, dang, that's a huge amount, because before we were calling our parents, hey, can you deposit $50 into our account, please? Just to kind of help us get by. So getting that first trade out of the way, that's always going to be probably one of the most nerve-wracking ones. But remember what we talked about. We just went through 6 months, 12 months of paper trading, And now again, building up that emotional tolerance. So it wasn't like I was just going in blindsided. I had experience. I had, again, education, and I was able to go through trial and error. So my first, few trades were me trying to probably develop my strategy. Like, which one is actually going to work? Because when we think about strategies, I think about them as sports. People say to me, oh, I'm not good at trading. That makes zero sense to me. That's like saying I'm not good at sports. I guarantee there's a sport out there that you are good at. You might not be good at basketball. You might be great at baseball, though. You might be great at badminton. You might be great at swimming. You might be a great golfer. There's no way you're bad at every single sport out. Hey, we'll throw you in ping pong. We'll find you something. And when it comes to stock trading, there's going to be dip buying. There's going to be swing trading. There's going to be shorting. There's going to be earnings reports. There's going to be Forex. There's so many different ways to invest into the stock market. It's ridiculous. So for me, my first few trades was me trying to figure out, how can I be successful with what strategy do I want to choose? And where I found the majority of my success was shorting stocks, shorting penny stocks. That's where I, again, found the majority of my plays. And that's still, again, going to be the majority of what I do now, just on a much larger scale. I think the majority of traders who end up losing and blowing up their accounts are traders that fall into the fantasy of trying to buy for monster breakouts. They try to buy for the biggest penny stock breakout or the biggest, GameStop type of play, the next meme stop run up, and they just get rejected and starts falling back on down. I'm sure there are tons of viewers at this time that are probably saying to themselves, yep, that's me. Yep, again, every time I buy a stock, it goes in the opposite direction. Every single time, it seems like someone's watching me. I get into a play, it falls on down. I get out of a play, it goes on up. You know why? Because we're buying at the worst entries. Stock trading a lot of times is do a game of opposites. When we see a stock going all the way up 200%, it's not a time to buy a stock when it's already up 100, 200%. I know as a rookie trader, our eyes trick us, and we're saying that trade's up 200%. That guy on the internet just made $4,000. I want to be making $4,000. I'm buying monster drop on down. So the way that I was able to find success was actually being able to run with that. If I saw that a stock was up 100%, 200%, and I'm talking about smaller cap plays, I'm not talking about, blue chips in any sort of way. I'm talking about, again, these smaller cap plays. These are stocks that have already been bought up. Guess what's going to happen? They're most likely going to be crashing back on down. So once I started being able to figure this out, that's where I was able to turn this $2,300 account into over $20,000 within the first 6 months of trading.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's where I was able to really gain a lot of success, because all I did was say to myself, every morning I woke up, looked at the top gainers in pre-market, saw 100% top gainer, 200% top gainer, especially these low float plays. And I would say to myself, hey, these aren't going to hold on up. What's the press release? What's the reason? What's the news? They just come crashing right back on down. Shorting is where I found a lot of my success.
And that's crazy, because we started in two completely different places. You started with shorting penny stocks, for example. I started with options. And it just goes to show, I think that's super, super cool and an awesome perspective for the show, is that you found your edge there. That's what worked for Sean. That's what Sean was good at. And I have this phrase I said all the traders I teach, I'm like, trading is not one size fits all. Like, you might be sitting here listening to this and you're like, wow, I learned this and this and this from Sean, this and this and this from Jdun, like, and you're going to go and formulate and make your own edge. But you found that and you just ran with it. I think that's super awesome.
Absolutely. And I think that's like such a cool thing as well, that you're bringing that up. Like, you are one of the top option traders out there. You're excellent with your option trading. Option trading is something that I just started probably about a year and a half ago.
I've seen that.
And that speaks like crazy volume, because I've been able to live my life and be able to make the success that I've had off shorting these smaller plays. You've been able to, again, have the success that you have off of your option trades. But the thing is, I don't want to just be stuck with one different strategy. I want to be able to learn how to trade options, and I want to be able to learn how to trade futures, and I want to be able to learn more about earnings season, because people come up to me all the time and say, Dek, what if I just learned one pattern? If I just learned one, could I just keep playing that pattern over and over and over again? It's like trying to build a house with a hammer. Why not, again, just have like nails in there and a screwdriver in there and everything else you need in there? So it's so cool, that you have your strategy, I have my strategy. And then from here, education has no ceiling. We can always just expand off that.
And was that a big thing for you? I know for myself, like, even when I started having some nice success, $1,000 days, $2,000 days, $5,000 days, like, I wanted to keep learning. So when you turned your account from 2,300 to 20,000, and so on, did you during that period keep learning? And how did you scale from 20,000 to, let's say, your first 100,000?
Yeah.
Like, how did that process go via trading and via your education?
Well, the thing is, when you turn $2,300 into 20,000 when you're still in college, you feel like the absolute man. You know,
You're the next Michael Burry.
Oh, yeah, you're the next Michael Burry. You start getting a little carried away, you know, and I think every single trader also gets that serious ego check. You ever get that ego check before where you are on a win streak, you feel like you're the absolute man, and the next thing you know, bang, it happens. Minus 5,000, 10,000, your account's down 40K, and you just said to yourself, maybe I'm not as invincible as I thought I was.
Bro, myself and pretty much anyone I see that has fast success in the market, or honestly at any point, any first time success in the market, you're going to get that ego check, and the market's going to punch you straight in your mouth.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I get that. And I've been there so many times, and it still happens even now. You go on a win streak, 1 week, 2 week, and all of a sudden it seems like everything that you worked for over the past few weeks, foomp, gets taken away. What's the only solution there? Have a stop loss, be willing to accept a loss. Take that loss as a lesson. A loss is not a failure. A loss is a lesson to be learned. So it's so great to actually get that lesson every now and then, to be able to become a better trader, to keep those win streaks even going even more. But when I turned that $2,300, that $20,000 plus, my confidence was already at an all-time high. We're feeding at this point. We're going on this frenzy essentially where we're saying to ourselves, I want to learn more and more and more. When we have a strategy that's working, we're not, I guess it comes down to two different people. Some people settle and they say, hey, this strategy is working, I'm good to go. Me, I said, I'm staying awake. I want to make sure I'm not missing any second of this. I want to keep becoming better and better. Let's go for 100,000. Let's go for a 500,000. Let's go for that million. So to me, it only added more fuel to this fire where I just started learning more and more and more. And then essentially, we're still doing the same strategy, but now we're scaling up in size. I think a lot of people probably watch you and they say, why am I not making the same money that you're making? That's a very popular question I get all the time.
All the time.
Dek, I'm doing the same thing that you're doing. Why are you making $4,000, $2,000, and I'm making $20? And I say, well, let me ask you a question. How big is your account? And they say, oh, my account's $500. Okay, I'm trading with $50,000. You got to think about it as a percentage base. Let's say, again, we do an option trade. And an option trade, we could get paid out 8%, 10%, 15% maybe, something along those lines. If you have, again, a 10% return and you're trading $100,000, you make 10 grand. You have a $1,000 account, you get paid $100. This is how, again, hedge funds in Wall Street make millions of dollars. They trade with $100 million hedge funds. They do one simple trade. Here's $1 million, $10 million. They make so much money. So it is perspective. You, again, have earned that account size by working yourself on up. And now, again, you make bigger profits. We all have to start with that small account. So the thing is, going from 2,300 to 20K, now I got something to work with. Now I got 20K. Now again, our profits aren't $200. Now our profits are, again, $800, $1,000, $1,200. We start feeding, we start going on these frenzies. And then, on top of that, you start adding, more people start getting involved into the stock market. It's a great thing. I think it's an all-around winner situation when there's more people trading. You know why? Because there's more volume. What's volume? Volume equals activity. Activity equals profit. More people trading, more crazy movements. When I first started trading back in whenever it was, 2015, 2014, whatever it was, a big day would be 100% move, like on a micro cap play. And I'm talking about $10 plus for anyone listening.
Bro, SPY would move like $1. And that was like a huge day.
Oh, yeah.
Huge day.
Yeah. Now we've seen the SPY move $5, $10, $15 in a day. Sometimes I see micro caps. To everyone, go check out HKD. HKD was a newer IPO. That stock went from $13 to $2,500. Like it without
$2,500.
Yeah, $2,500. If you had a $10,000 account, you could have made over $2.4 million within 7 days. How insane is that? Recently, you can take a look at some newer IPOs. I know this podcast is dropping on a Saturday, I believe it is.
Yep, this coming Saturday.
It's some newer IPOs that you could take a look at. PKST went all the way from, again, $10 all the way up towards $50. We've had CXAI, that stock run at about $20. UCAR has gone from $8 to $75. These are like 400, 500% spikes, in a few days. Like, this is because there's so much more action in the market. It's an all around win that so many more people are trading. So it's like, and you could probably say it as well. Your community, it continues to grow because more people are interested in trading. And it's amazing being able to see so much interest in the stock market world.
Yeah, and I think it's also because people are really starting to want to learn. And I wanted to touch on something you said before that's funny. You started with $2,300. I started with around $5K. I built that $5K to $25K, that $25K to $100K plus.
Same thing.
And
same exact thing, 20 to the $100K the next year.
And my purpose at that point, what I kind of look back and it was great and it was not great. it was great because, I had 100K plus and I was like, damn, this is awesome. But also I wish I would have focused more on the process and like paying myself. Like for myself, I was kind of like you. I was so hungry for money. I was like, damn, I want to turn this 5K into 25K into 100K into a mil. Like it was just money, money, money. But I think looking into a longer perspective, it helps traders to focus more on the process and the education than the profits. And obviously we were both blessed to make some really good trades, make some really good money. But if I could go back, I would focus more on like, paying myself routinely. I would focus more on the process of it, how all that worked versus I'm trying to have a 25K account to get out of the PDT rule. I want to get over that 25K hump to 100K because I want a 6-figure account. And then, just, you get into this like building game.
Yeah.
So I'm curious on the topic of paying yourself. Do you have a set schedule how you pay yourself? Did you go through anything like that? And what's been your whole process of paying yourself process and whatnot?
So paying myself wise, people do this differently. And I think it all depends on how you like to do it. I personally pay everything out quarterly. So
quarterly.
Okay. Yeah. So I take out a huge chunk every single quarter. Now, what is this chunk? This chunk is going to pay for quarterly taxes and then also quarterly living. So I'll be able to trade. I take things out usually every 2 to 3 months. So I like to have a base on my account. If that is when I'm trading my big account, either 50, 75K, grow it up to 150, 200, whatever it may be. Take it out, go back towards around 50, 75K. Take that money, put it out towards, again, taxes. Got your tax account right there. Have another account. You could have your savings or checking account, and that could be whatever you may be. Let's say your normal living. You might have your fun account. You might have your retirement account. Being a trader, you have to take a lot of responsibility in your finances. It's not all just make 100K, let's go put down a deposit on a Lamborghini. That's the worst thing you can do. You have to understand that you are going to be having a lot of other expenses. I've had someone email me before and say, hey, Sean, I got $3,000 left in my bank account. That's all I got left. I got a family to provide for. That's it. I'm giving it my all here. And I said, I don't want you trading right now. I don't want you trading. I want you to take that $3,000 and I want you to be able to provide for your family, because the last thing I want you to do is take $3,000, put it into an account. You got nothing for your family now. People aren't realizing when it's from, I don't know how a lot of other people do it. I don't know anyone personally who makes, again, $400 and transfers it right to their bank account right away, right? It's not like that. I grow my account on up. I usually take it every 2 to 3 months. I'll transfer over a huge chunk, put some of that money towards taxes, put some of that money over towards retirement, put some of that money towards average day living, and then I put some money over towards fun. A little bit of fun. So it's great that if you could go and make a little pie chart and say, okay, I need, again, 30% over to taxes. I want to have 50% for my upcoming business or whatever it may be. Let me put, again, 20% away for tax, for retirement. And let me have whatever's left for a little bit of fun. So you do have to break that down and to be able to understand, hey, you know what? This $4,000 profit is not just a $4,000 profit. It does have to go somewhere. But that's how I like to do it, because I don't want to turn into a person that makes money, transfer it to my account, make money, transfer. And I also don't want to be a person who just leaves my money in there forever, giving exposure to possibly get lost into a huge trade. At some point, you have to be able to take that and walk away with it. A lot of times people say in a stock trade, you might be up $20,000 or $10,000 on a trade, but it's not yours till you lock it in. Now, that's a great point, but it's also not technically yours until you transfer it out of there as well. Because right there, it's still, again, hungry to go ahead and possibly go make some more money, but it also has that exposure to also lose money.
And I'm curious. So every single year I start with around 200K. That's what I started 2023 with. Last year, what I guess parameters do you have for how much you start trading with? I've seen you start accounts with a few 100K. I've also seen you do, small accounts. I've seen you do medium-sized accounts. Like, what dictates how Sean starts his, trading with? Like, what's your ideal account size? Obviously, everyone's different. You've been in this game a long time. You have skin in the game. What's your account size that you prefer, and when do you do your best trading?
So I'm just going to be blatantly honest. More money you have, easier it is to grow. The way it works.
Once you have skill.
Once you have skill.
Yeah. Okay. Obviously, if you start out and you have 200K, you should... Please do not put all your 200K in.
Yo, cut this part out.
Yeah, but no, but seriously, right? Like, once you have skill, it's easier to make more with more, right? Easier. But what I was saying with that is that if you have 200K, you've never traded before, you're going to come in and you're going to lose your 200K.
Yeah.
If you're being
no, 100%.
So with that, sorry about the little rant. What's your what's your blatantly honest account size?
So usually around 75 is kind of like my happy medium.
That's awesome.
Because that's where I feel good. Once I have, there has been times that I'm like, guys, I'm going after it. 2021, it seems like everything just went up. You know what I mean? Everything just went up, drop interest rates, people buying, no matter what you bought, it was going on up. So that was a time that you saw that I was going with $500,000. I was literally putting everything into trades every single day. I was walking away with $20,000, $30,000 a day. And obviously there are losses within there. You know, we got to be transparent. There are those red days, but when the market's hot, you have to get after it. When the market's slow, you got to calm down. A happy medium is around 75K. Then when things are super hot, I like to go much bigger, put in 6 figures. But when things are slow, I like to, again, take a little bit of a step back. You know, 2022, that was a tougher year for me personally, because that was the downfall. That was a lot more of the dropping. And some people may say we got more dropping on the way, but it was night and day for me, at least, where I saw we buy anything, you win. And now it's 2022. There was a lot more dropping. There was a lot more fading. There was slower activity. There's more fear induced in the market. We got to remember that stock trading and investing, it's all psychological. It's all psychology. We need to know that. Why is a stock going on up? Because someone is buying that play. If 100 people buy a small play, it goes on a nice little climb on up. If 100 people go sell a small play, it starts dropping on down. Now let's put that to the maximum scale. Let's think about the economy. When people are seeing, oh, wow, everyone's making tons of money, everyone's making tons of cash, people are induced. They feel like, okay, now I can make a tons of cash. When everyone's fearful, that's where everyone starts saving their money. We see less volume, less activity. Perfect example of this, is going to be kind of the cryptocurrency craze back in 2021. Anyone could say, hey, guys, go out, you buy this cryptocurrency, you're going to make money. And people were making money on it. But at some point, guess what happened? Your random pictures of rocks didn't make you money anymore.
The $500,000 JPEG didn't make money.
I know. Yeah. The monkeys, they're starting to lose a little bit. Pet rocks, not happening too much anymore. The thing is, I like crypto. I do. I think that Bitcoin could be going to surpassing 75K in 2026, 2027. I think that could definitely happen. But we need to also think about the cryptocurrency market as almost like the .com bubble. The cryptocurrency market hit hard so fast, so quickly. It was like the internet hit in like 1999, 2000. I'm a little bit older than you. I remember when I was in probably 1998, I want to say I was like 8 years old. And my friend down the street got the internet. And we used to go over his house and just go on the internet. I remember going home to my parents' house and asking my mom and dad, saying, hey, Mom, Dad, when are we going to get the internet? And that's such a crazy thing to even have to say at this point. But then we have to remember when the internet came, some of the biggest companies out there, eBay and Amazon, these are huge companies back in the early 2000s, they boomed and went insane. But you know what also went insane? A whole bunch of fluff that was just riding their coattails. A whole bunch of random little companies that are no longer around. The Bitcoin kind of crazy phase that happened because everyone was just so confident in cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin, think about it as Amazon. Ethereum, let's think about that as eBay. Those are going to be around in the future. But I don't think, again, Happy Lawnmowers coin is going to be around. Whatever,
it's not.
So yeah, so there's going to be things that are obviously going to live up with the hype and then also, again, die off with the hype. But kind of getting back to our point is just, we have to remember that the stock market is psychological. And when things are hot, be willing to press that. Be willing to be able to put more money on there and have that confidence. And when things are slow, don't wake up and do the same thing every single day. Understand market conditions. How often do you wake on up and you just say to yourself, hey guys, things are a little bit more slower. I'm going to walk away. I'm going to, kind of go a little bit lighter on my shares. When things are hot, hey guys, let's get after it. So we have to find that happy medium where stock trading is essentially 50% of knowing when to pull the trigger and 50% of knowing when not to pull the trigger.
Yes, 100%. You have to know when to put risk on and risk off. And if you're just putting full risk on every single day, no matter what, you're not trading, you're dopamine chasing. Right? You're trying to get hit of dopamine.
Yeah.
You're trying to feel something. I get trading can be fun. One of the first videos I saw you hit an awesome trade, made 10 grand or something, and you ripped your shirt off, which is super fun, by the way. I love the energy. But you've earned the right to do that. When the time is to go heavy and to put your risk on and rip your shirt off as a result of an awesome trade.
Yeah.
You also know when to sit back Like, all right, guys, like, there's nothing moving. We're not going to put risk on. We're going to take it easy. Now, on the topic of risk and of losses and wins, I wanted to transition to something that I've been wanting to talk to you about. Two things: biggest win and biggest loss. Now, I remember specifically there was a TikTok video I saw yours where, on the topic of losses, because we all have them, and I think they're a little more fun to talk about. We'll go over wins in a second. There was a video where you were down like 100K plus.
Yeah.
And then you ended up making a ton of money from that trade. So walk us through that. How do you go from negative over $100,000 to in the positive what you ended up?
So one of my favorite strategies, as we know, is shorting. And these plays, a lot of them nowadays, when they catch fire, they could potentially just rip and run. So for anyone who does not know, shorting means that I am betting against the stock. We can all buy a stock, and as it goes up, we make money. We can also bet against the play, and we make money as it falls on down. So my theory, my thought, a lot of my strategy here is when I see a stock go on up from some sort of random move, sometimes we'll see a press release that comes on out that says, we have applied for this brand new treatment that is going to be revolutionary, that is going to change the world on cancer treatments. People see that and they say, wow, that sounds really good. And I say to myself, why is that good? We applied for it. Applied means nothing is happening. It doesn't mean results. So people buy that because they read that press release and it makes them feel like that's a good press release, and it starts catching a little bit of fire. Now, 9 out of 10 times, those plays are going to go on nice little pops on up, comes crashing all the way back on down. That's where we make our money off of these. But every now and then, we need to understand that there is going to be a play that's going to catch fire, and you know what? People are going to buy it. And then as the internet works, some other Discord or some social media or some trader or some group or some community is also going to see it, and then they're going to buy it, and it's going to lead towards more people buying it and more people. And now again, there's a trend going on Twitter of everyone buying. And that happens. And that's why it's very important to have stop losses. So this one trade got a little carried away. Okay. Got a little bit wild where I jumped in on this play and I was trading, I want to say roughly $250,000 in my account at this time. And I was putting in my normal shares and started going up a little bit higher. Started saying to myself, no big deal. You know what? This play is going to start coming back on down. Started averaging in a little bit. Now, averaging in, for those who do not know, means I'm going to be buying in or shorting at a higher price, which is going to raise my cost basis. So when the stock starts falling back on down, I can make money quicker. I don't have to wait until it falls all the way back down to the original price. And that's, a great strategy to be able to have. But if a stock keeps going up higher, you're basically just throwing more logs onto the fire, just making it even worse. And that's almost what happened on this play. Now, hey, for anyone that's listening to this right now saying bad risk management, you don't got to roast me in the comments. I read them all, on the TikTok video. It has over 1 million views. A lot of people would say, watch your, risk and reward. And you're 100% correct. There are trades that I make that I'll say that was perfect. And there are trades that I want to make that say, don't ever do that. And that was one of those trades that you don't ever want to do. This play, I believe we got the video. We can, I believe I had 4,000, 8,000, 12, 13,000 shares, and it just wouldn't stop. It just kept going and going and going. And usually when these plays keep going higher, they eventually get halted, and then they spike hard, they get halted. But the good news is once those halts come, the turn is going to be coming in the near future. So in this video, you could see that I'm starting to honestly get a little nervous, but I live stream all my trades every single day. I have, over 2,000-3,000 people watching me. I'm also trying to keep my cool a little bit, but I don't care who you are. If, you're Dana White, if you're Jdun, when you're down again $100,000, you're going to start kind of freaking out a little bit.
Oh, you're not trading. You're in the bathroom shitting yourself.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Down 100 grand.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So then all of a sudden we see the stock get halted, and we see it drop. And I go from $112,000 to all of a sudden down $80,000. And I say to myself, there's hope. We have a chance.
There's hope.
We have a chance here.
Don't call it a comeback.
Yeah. Stock's halted for about 5 to 10 minutes, gets unhalted. Big gap down. I'm only down $20,000 at this point.
Bro, sorry to interrupt you. That had to have felt like the longest 5 to 10 minutes ever.
Oh.
That probably felt like 5 to 10 hours.
Oh, it was
in that halt.
Especially when you're sitting there and I'm like trying not to look at my chat, and everyone is just like either hyping you up or again, like saying like, nope, get out right away. Either people are saying, keep on holding, or the other half of people are going to be saying, get out right away. It's going to keep going up to that next high coming on up. So you're just sitting there, just trying to stay to the plan, trying to ignore those guys and be like, I'm not even looking at you. And then guess what happens? 10 minutes goes by, stock gaps down more. I'm only down $19,000. All of a sudden I'm back into the green. And then once I'm up in the green, I blink a couple times, I'm up $20,000, and I just get out, walk away, feeling absolutely fantastic. I think maybe that was the day that I started dating my girlfriend. It was amazing. All right.
That's crazy. That's just, and I watched that video a few times and I was like, damn, like I've had trades similar where I do have some trades that are great. I'm so proud of them. And I've had some trades in my life that I'm like, damn, like I could have done a lot of damage to myself.
Absolutely.
I escaped there, slick of the wrist.
And the thing is, like, I'm happy I've had that. Like, I'm happy I got that out of my system. Because there's always, I feel like when we start trading and we get involved in our trades, there's always going to be that point where we say, what if I kept holding? It's always the woulda, coulda, shoulda game. Oh man, I should have kept on holding. Man, I would have jumped on in if I just woke up a little bit earlier. Man, I could have done this. So like, why didn't I do that? Man, if I kept on holding, I made $400 today. I could have made $20,000 if I kept on holding. But we're always looking at stock trading and we're always looking in a negative light. You ever realize that? Stock trading, business, entrepreneurship, it's so easy to look at that in a negative light. We make $2,000, could have made $5,000. Oh man, again, I could have done this. Why didn't I do that? I should have done that. The thing is, it just seems like maybe it's just around us. Maybe it's just human nature. It's very easy to get down on ourselves. It's very easy to turn something that's so positive into a negative. The easiest way to be able to combat this is stay humble with yourself. Before I started stock trading, I was a snow tube pusher. In Pennsylvania, I used to just go to a ski resort, Big Boulder, and I used to push people down mountains. That's what I did. 8 hours
awesome.
for about 10 hours a day. I got paid $8 per hour. And people used to sit there. They used to say, "Hey, push me." Grown men. Here you go. Right? And just sit out there in the freezing cold. I would do that for 10 hours, make $80.
That's crazy.
Some people would, have their normal 9-to-5 job right now. People who go to college, get their degrees, graduate, feel great about themselves. And you know what? They had an awesome accomplishment. They should. But the thing is, now you're making $200 a day, $250 per day. And in stock trading, we could make $500 and we still feel like, oh man, I could have made $1,000. You must realize and you must understand right now how much you're making at stock trading compared to what you're doing during the day. We are literally clicking a button. Like we are clicking two buttons. We click a buy, we click a sell, we click a call, we click a put, whatever it may be. We click two buttons and then we are making more than what we'd make if I had to wake up early, commute, sit with, again, a whole bunch of people that maybe I don't like, be underneath a boss, drive back on home, spend money on gas, barely see my family, barely see my loved ones. And I'm clicking a button and making double, triple, quadruple, quintuple that. Right? We must understand that there's no negativity. Where's the negativity in this? Oh, well, Deck, I could have made, again, $1,000. You could have picked the right numbers for a Powerball as well. I don't see you crying about that. You know what I mean? So it's like, why are people always like moping around, acting like a bitch all the time? You know?
And I think, yes. I think that I think the problem, it's a lot in comparison. Is that people, they see, oh, I could have done this, could have done that. And, they go on social media, they see someone that makes more than them, makes less than whatever. And people compare themselves a lot. That's something that I was never a jealous person. I always saw if I saw you make 10,000, if I saw Umar make 10,000, I was always like, shit, like I want to make that money. I want to learn that,
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it was never a thing of jealousy, never a thing of, comparison, but like wanting to learn. I think eventually after years of trading, after years of, winning trades, losing trades, you get to the point where you're like, you make $10,000, you're like, damn, like, sure, I could have made 20 or 30,000, but I also could have it could have gone completely opposite from when I sold and I could have lost 10,000. Mm-hmm. And that's the mindset you have to have is, you got paid, you made money, you did what a lot of people can't do. And so there's no, oh, I should have done that. Like, you learned, you executed your trade how you thought was right. And you got paid.
Let me ask you about competition though. Like when you're a competitive person?
Super. So
do you think that's been a reason that has driven you to where you are today?
Yes. So in trading, I think of it like basketball, right? Mm-hmm. in a lot of ways. In basketball, always wanted to win. May or may not have gotten kicked out of a few games. We won't go there. But that being said, I always wanted to do better. I, for a long time, was only at $200, $300 a day. A long time. Then I had a year or two that was $500 to $1,000 a day. Long time. Had no need to size up, but I knew one day that if I could keep learning, if I could keep, bettering myself, me versus me in the mirror, I'd get to where I wanted to be. 2022 was an awesome year for me. I loved 2022. I saw a lot of people that, depending on what you did, it was really tough for a lot of traders. I love trading puts. I love trading the downside. Upside's cool too. 2021 is fine. But 2022 was really my breakout year, I guess you could say. And it wasn't just because I started trading and got lucky randomly, right? It was because I was competitive with myself. You know, I was at $500 to $1,000 a day. And I'm like, you know, a lot of people settle for that. And that's fine. That's great money. There's nothing wrong with that. But for me, I was like, I want more. Like, I want to challenge myself more. It's not even about the money. It's about winning. Yeah. It's about getting better. And I know you feel that all, like, you know, you're very competitive too. And you don't have a sports background. Yeah. And so, you know, going from that, you know, 500 to 1,000 a day, that $2,000 to $5,000 a day to now in 2023, up like, I think it's like almost 600,000 now, which for me is great money. Like, you know, I know there's traders that make millions a year, but for me, it's fantastic. Like, it's been, you know, looking at it, a lot of that competitive drive and a lot of that pushing it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I agree. And that's why, like, honestly, I am like so happy that we connected. I'm so happy I'm here right now because I look at you and the success that you have. And there are two parts of me. There's a part that is envious of where you are at in your trading career. And there's a part of me that is extremely competitive that I want to get to that in my trading career. So it's like, I love where you are at, because not only, again, do you kind of push me forward, but you are also, again, a reason why I'm also working extremely hard. And I think this all comes down to surrounding yourself with the people that you want to be with. We can think about this as sports groups. A lot of parents, they put their kids in higher sports classes, such as a 13-year-old playing with 15-year-old kids. Why? Because if you're a 13-year-old and you play with 15-year-olds, you are going to probably develop much quicker. You are going to have tougher competition. If I'm, again, trading with you and you're trading with me, if you beat me on a day, I'm gonna be angry about that. I want to, again, be able to make more money than you, and you're gonna want to make more money than me. And next thing you know, we look back and no one's even close to us. You want to, again, see your future. You surround yourself with the people that you are now, and you look at them and say, that's where I'm going to be. So again, hanging out and being here with you, I'm saying to myself, man, blue skies ahead. Big things ahead.
Blue skies ahead. And like you said, you know, like, I see you make 10,000 in a day. I'm like, damn, fuck yeah. Yeah, I want to do that too. Yeah, you know, and like,
so it's that competition, but also, again, that, you know, that spark that's like, hey, I don't want to let him beat me. I love Jdun, but at the same time, it's like, I want to beat him, and it's like the same thing here.
And I hope you do. I hope we both win. You know,
absolutely. But it's just, you know, it comes down to that drive, you know, and it's I think, like, we both have it, just because I think, you know, high school sports and everything, you know.
I think it's cool too. You know, we went over your biggest losing trade. We have the same, basically, biggest winning day ever.
We do.
But 87,000. I got you beat by $2,000. 89,000. I have a feeling.
I'm 87,000.
I have a feeling you're coming for that, though. That six-figure day is coming this year.
Everyone, just be ready this week on TradeCast. All right, we are about to go hard.
So your biggest day is almost $100,000. 87,000. What was that trade like? Do you remember it? What did you do? And how did it feel to make almost $100,000 in a single mother effing day?
Yeah. So this was it. And we got to put a little asterisk next to it, okay? And the reason why we have to put an asterisk is because it was a swing where I bought in at 350 at night.
It was a swing trade?
It was a swing trade, which is not something that I do too often. And it was Tesla. It was, you know, Tesla, when Tesla was basically just ramping on up. This was before the Tesla stock split. Tesla went on their stock split last August or whatever.
They've had a few.
Last June or July, where they really dropped on down. They used to be able to trade all the way up towards $1,100, $1,200. This was about 2 years ago. And Tesla, it was a madhouse every single day. Like, every single day, if you bring up a Tesla chart right now, and pre-stock split, it had a run up from $100 to $1,200 every single day. Bro. A bad day on Tesla was like a $30 move, and it was nuts.
I made so much money off those days, man. I know you did too. And then during that, not to interrupt your story, Amazon, when it was in the 3,000s, would do the same thing.
I know,
just massive moves up and down.
And that's why a lot of times, like, when I do trade options, I trade SPX. Just because it is in that same kind of large category, very high volatile type of movement where you can make a lot of money. But I do miss, you know, when Tesla was kind of, you know, on that big pre-split type of price where we saw nonstop crazy action every single day. And it was a play that I jumped in on, held up overnight. Elon Musk, that's when he was kind of tweeting at his naughtiest behavior. And we saw him, you know, gap up the stock, you know, like whatever it was, $60, $70. And I woke up and I was up about $60,000 waking on up. And
am I dreaming? Pinch me.
I know. I woke up and I saw that, and then I actually held it all the way until the day started. 9:30, we actually dropped on down slightly, and I went from 60 back down to like 50, and then we went all the way up. And then I was like, everyone
held,
and I held it. Everyone was like, hold it to 100, hold it to 100, and I was just like, at some point, I was saying to myself, Sean, you were a snow tube pusher. Like you were making $8 an hour. You're up $87,000. Take it, get out. And there's people on, that on TradeCast who have seen me do this. If you guys have been members for over 2 years, you've seen me be able to have that trade. And that was my biggest trade ever. What was your trade? The 89,000 one.
That is just, I'll tell you about it, but that is just crazy. You woke up 60,000. And bro, I promise you, if I wake up 60,000, like I'm gonna be warming up my finger for 30 minutes before, ready to click sell.
Hey, there has been times that I've done that, just getting the pre-clicks in, even before 9:30.
Pre-clicks, yes, that is crazy, dude. And then drawdown, you held through that to $10,000 on a $6,000 profit.
That's where it's like
you held.
I know, but this is also like where you start getting a little bit of that bad mindset, where you start saying to yourself, "Hey, I'm up $60,000 right now. Okay, let me set a base at $40,000." Where you say, if you go underneath $40,000, I'm out. Now, the thing is, that sounds smart, doesn't it? It sounds like, okay, that's smart. If he hits $40,000, he's out. At the same time, I'm giving exposure out to $20,000. It's like, who the heck do I think I am? Like, to be like, oh yeah, I'll throw away $20,000. Like that means nothing. That's a ton of money. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it did work out, but at the same time, like I like to be honest with myself. Like it wasn't probably the smartest thing in the future, because what if it went all the way down to 40,000? What if again, I started even having second thoughts at 40,000, saying, okay, give it a second. Let's see if it bounced back on up. Now it's down to 35,000. I think that's a major issue that new traders have, is that I think a lot of new traders, they have the issue of not ever placing a stop loss. And if they don't place a stop loss and have a mental stop loss, they are a person that actually doesn't follow that stop loss. A lot of times I don't have a set stop loss. And it's because I'm very disciplined in the fact that I will get out if I'm down. I will get out. If I'm down again at my stop area, if I say, hey, I'm losing $2,000, I'm getting out of it. I'm going to move on from it. But there are so many traders that say, okay, if I lose $300, I'm going to get out. And all of a sudden it goes down to $300 and they say, wait, one moment. Let's just see if it goes back
400 now.
Yeah, let's just see 250. Goes up to 250. And they're like, see, I told you it'd bounce. Now it goes down towards again 300. We'll just give it a second. It'll bounce back on up, down 400. Okay, we'll give it a moment. Now you're down 600. Well, hold on. Let's just try to get back up towards 350 or 250. Now you're down 1,000, and you're just, fuck it, I'm holding long term. It's like that's all we do at this point. I feel like so that's how. I don't know one trader. I don't know one member in any community out there that has ever blown up their account by having, let's say, $5,000 and losing 200 and losing 200 and losing 200 for 50 times, 100 times. People lose 200, get frustrated. They say to themselves, well, when I get out, it goes on a spike. When I don't get in, it goes on a big rip, whatever it may be. Next thing you know, there's always that one trade that they're not losing 200. They lose 4,000. Then their account's gone. It's never the paper cuts. You get annoyed by the paper cuts until, again, you end up getting bleeded out.
And on the flip side, too, same thing you just said, but traders will have, they'll have a really small win, $100, $150. $200. Obviously, small is relative, by the way, just for our sake of example. $100, $150, $200. Then that loss they have, $2,000 on a Friday. Like you wipe out weeks worth of gains. And that's the most common problem I see with traders.
Yeah.
Is having small win. That loss comes, they don't want to cut it like you were just talking about. They don't want to cut it. They wait. What's supposed to be a $200 loss, $300 loss, turns into a $4,000 loss. And it's
Absolutely.
Like, you can't do that. Like losing is never going away. That's something that we've both experienced. We'll both tell that any trader ever that wants to join our communities, that wants to learn, it's like, if someone's like, am I going to win 100% of your trades? Fuck no.
Yeah.
Not anywhere. I don't care if you're trading with the best trader in the world. So
I think trader in the world doesn't make millions of dollars every trade. He makes hundreds of thousands and loses hundreds. So it's like the best traders have minuscule losses with massive wins. But that's why it's so important to be able to see this and be able to learn. It's so tough. And I feel like a lot of people, they listen to this, but they're never willing to actually take that step to be like, okay, hey, I want to be able to learn how to trade and be able to do it right. And the thing is that it's so crazy to me. You and I, we're in stock trading in the United States. We're in the top 1%. We're in the top 1% of people who are actually going to make it, of people who are successful. I'm here telling that Jdun is going to be able to teach you. I will be able to teach you. And people are going to be like, I would rather, again, pay $75,000 to go to college, get into debt, and then, again, be able to work $50,000 for the rest of my life. Like, why is that? It's because that's what we're programmed from the moment that we're brought on up. We're supposed to say, hey, you know what? Let's go to high school. Let's go to college. Let's go ahead and be a set job. That's not the way this world works anymore. This world is not based off the world that was in 1980, 1990, pre-internet. You have the power to be able to open up your own business. You have your own power to be able to get online, open up your own brokerage, and be able to trade. If someone, again, signs up to a guitar lesson, they are, again, learning from that person, because that person knows how to play guitar. If you, again, learn from Jdun or myself, you are, again, I don't even know what you charge or whatever. For me, it's $4. It's a fraction. It's $4 a day to be able to learn from someone in the top 1%, just like you or myself. Yep. And it's why? Why are you not taking advantage to be able to learn from us? And it's like, oh, well, I don't want to pay that. I don't want to do that. You have to be willing to at least put your foot in, right? Put your foot out there to be able to be successful. And, that's like one thing. I know it's kind of like a little bit like a rant that I'm kind of putting out there, I want to say, but a lot of people just out in the world always just want everything given to them for absolutely for free. And the thing is, no matter what, you can give away free 7-day passes, you could give discounts, you could give everything. But I know we live in a social media world a lot of times where it's always buy my course, buy my course, buy my course. The thing is, it shouldn't be about that. What I want, traders to realize is people are, saying, let's say, buy my course in some sort of way because they have experience. They know how to be successful in that manner. And, that's why I want, people to be able to sign up and learn from Jdun. I want people to be able to realize that he knows how to be successful. It's a new time. It's a new era. That's, again, you want to be able to learn the right way right now.
And while we're on the talk of paid education, I know it's a touchy subject for people, but the reality is, I always like to say, you can find a lot of stuff on YouTube for free.
Yeah.
You can find a lot of stuff on Instagram for free. He'll tell you that. I'll tell you that. But the statistics say, and this goes for not just trading, anything, that if you look at studies of people who invest, it's not even about paying for education, investing in yourself, putting faith in yourself through something that matters to you a lot, right? Your bank account. The statistics show that people who do that, the success rate is so much higher because you pay, you're going to pay attention.
Absolutely.
So again, not trying to sit here and be like, oh, buy, Sean's course, buy Sean's program or buy mine. I'm just saying, the reality is that if you invest in yourself, not just in trading and anything, you're going to have much more success and you're going to take it much more seriously. And $4 a day, $5 a day?
Yeah.
Same thing here.
Yeah.
Right?
And also I always give a free 7-day pass. I want people to be able to realize what they're getting. And then on top of that, to be able to say, okay, I think that's worth it. I don't ever want to blind someone and say, hey, you're getting in this, you're locked in. Free 7-day pass, and then you're able to decide for yourself if it's even worth it or not.
That's awesome. So I love how you put it that way. Obviously, you do a ton of free streams and stuff too.
Yeah.
I try to give a lot free back, and we both have a lot of ways we love to teach people. So I want to keep going with this trading thing, but I also want to turn it a little different direction. You have been trading for a long time, have made a lot of money. Something you recently did was you bought a $1 million+ Airbnb in Utah with your trading profits, with some of your trading profits.
Mm-hmm.
Can you go a little on that? Was that always your plan to, use trading and to build other sources of revenue? Do you always want to be trading till the day that, you're in your deathbed and your last movement is clicking that mouse? What was your take starting out? And what's your future with trading and how, tell us about how it helped you buy, an awesome revenue producing Airbnb.
Yeah. So I think a lot of times, in trading, I love trading. I love what I do. I love doing my live streams. I love just being able to trade every single day, because every single day when I do trade, I'm fired up. I'm motivated. I'm excited to go to work every single day. But I also have to realize it is, streaming and doing all that. It is a lot of work, especially, doing it for 6 hours every single day. It takes a lot of time on up. So for me, the way that I like to kind of break down and be able to set myself up for financial success for the rest of my life is I want to take trading profits and essentially do what we talked about before. Go from trading profits, put it into real estate. Trading profits, put it into real estate. So if we think about, Airbnbs or rentals or anything along these lines, they are going to produce. So if you go ahead and you make, let's say, $500,000, and then you take that $500,000 and you put that on a down deposit over on an Airbnb, now that Airbnb is going to be producing, the rental comes going to be coming, and your house is going to be appreciating in value. So now we have that Airbnb paying itself through renters. That Airbnb is now appreciating. Now on top of that, I'm still trading. Now I'm gaining again more trading. Let's get another $500,000, put it down right there, whatever that may be. Depends on how expensive the house could be. It could be 50%, could pay it off completely, could be only 20%. Who knows? It all depends on the area and what you're doing here. But now again, we have that first one, we have this second one, and now we have ourselves still trading. So now we're getting different streams of income. We must understand that the average millionaire has 7 different streams of income. 7.
At least.
At least. So when you're listening right now and you're saying to yourself, how many streams of income do I have? Well, I have my 9 to 5 that I make $200 a day on. And again, I commute and I again do this and I do that. And it's like so you just have one stream. It's so simple nowadays to have more than one stream. And I'm not saying it's simple to go ahead and buy a $500,000 down deposit on Airbnb or whatever. I'm saying, you know how easy it is just to make some YouTube videos and be able to get some YouTube revenue? Do you know how easy it is to just go ahead and sign up to an affiliate program and just do something along those lines? Do you know how easy it is to just say, hey, you know what? Yes, I am going to learn how to stock trade with $2,000 and be able to make an additional $100 every single day. You know, you can always be thinking about different ways to be able to have that different income. So for me, my perfect formula at this time is trade, gain, put it to real estate. That appreciates while I trade. I again gain, put it to another real estate. Those are again making rentals. That's making rentals, and I'm trading on top of it. My goal would be just continuously trading to just keep getting my down deposits while renters, pay on out. Now I know there's always going to be those real estate people out there that are listening and saying to themselves, well, it all depends on, again, your rentals, and you got to understand taxes and how appreciation is working. And if there's ever going to be a collapse, and we got to think about it's not all just profit. There is going to be property management fees, and sometimes renters are going to break things. Absolutely. I'm not saying, again, it's a secret, success thing that people don't realize and people don't know about. There is going to be years that you are going to generate a lot from, again, your Airbnb. And there's going to be years that you're not going to generate a lot. So, right now, my Airbnb over in Salt Lake City, Utah, brings in roughly $180,000 every single year.
That's awesome.
So $180,000, that is awesome. But let's think about it. It's not all my $180,000. I also, again, pay out a property management team. I also have to, again, pay out taxes. I also do have a mortgage on that house. But after all of that, and also if anything ever, say, breaks in any sort of way, as of now, right now, I bring home around $50,000, $60,000 in profit. So not bad to be able to.
You're building the equity too.
Building the equity as well. So the thing is, I put down my down deposit, makes $180,000, and now I'm essentially making $60,000 for life for not doing anything. And I know that's like a very big word right there, a very big sentence, not doing anything. And people are like, well, you are doing a lot. I'm not really doing anything whatsoever. I have a property management team that manages absolutely everything. They hit me up when they need me. And again, if I have to pay for something that breaks, that happens. But other than that, I get checks in the mail. Every month I get a check in the mail. During the wintertime, I get checks for, again, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 plus, depending on how much it goes. Yes, I got to pay my mortgage on out. But let's imagine if I had, again, 3 properties, 4 properties, 5 properties. Right now I got 2. So the thing is, if we, again, just have all these properties paying on out, even if they're not fully paid on out, we're still making $300K, $400K a year. And that's before all these houses are even paid off.
And 2 things that you just said I wanted to touch on. You said it was simple to build multiple streams of income. Nowadays, I agree. And I also want to add in, it is mandatory. Inflation's, they say, at 5% now. I think that's a little on up from what they're saying. It's expensive to live in 2023. So yes, it has never been easier with the internet to find different ways to make money. Hell, even to learn how to trade stocks. There's never been, like, back 10 years ago, you and I aren't sitting here having this conversation, giving the sauce on how to do it. You're not finding all these YouTube courses on how to do it. You don't have live trading rooms like you do now, like we both run. You don't have all that stuff. So it's never been easier to learn and take that step forward. Second thing is that you're like with your Airbnb. I always tell people right away, if you get that big cushion, you have X amount of time of money saved up, you have other streams of income, sure, quit that job. Right. But right away, I always want people to know trading that, you're going to trade better if the pressure is off you. If you only have $2,000 or $3,000, like you said before, and that's all you have to take care of your family, don't trade. Yeah. Are you kidding me? But if you have that steady income, for you, it's Airbnb, you're going to end up having a few Airbnbs that each pay, 40, 50, 60K a year. Now you don't have to rely on trading. That's going to take that pressure off. You're not going to be relying on the money. Therefore, your trading, I'd be willing to bet, is going to get better and better and better. Tell people that all the time. The more you can detach from the money and not need the money, still respect your risk, the better you're going to be at trading.
Yeah. I that's a very valid point, with absolutely everything. And I think something that, I do want to stress on as well is there are so many people that are listening to this right now, and so many people that are inspired probably, and so many people that are motivated. And there are hard workers out there. I know before we were kind of bashing a lot of lazy people and people that weren't willing to, put in some work. But we also need to understand that it's about hard work, but also putting hard work in the correct field. If you are a person that gives your absolute all, but you're a custodian, you're never going to make $1 million to being a custodian or a librarian or whatever that may be. You have to be able to put in 100% in the correct field. If I put in 12 hours a day into something that is going to only pay me a certain amount, I'm not going to be able to make that much. If I put in 100% into stock trading, it's limitless. Why would I not put in that effort? So be selective in what field you do. Hey, I really like that Airbnb talk. I really like that real estate talk. Give 100% towards that. And I want everyone to give their 100%, but do it towards, again, a field that has no limit.
And I like how you said that too. Like, I've adapted this phrase more and more over the years. I've talked to a lot of millionaires, you being one of them, some other people that like hard work is cool, but hard work isn't the answer anymore. It's smart work, right? If you're a hardworking janitor, God bless you. Like, you're doing great for a lot of kids, a lot of people, wherever you're a janitor at, but there's no room to grow there. Not going to become a multimillionaire and retire your mom and family being a janitor, right? Even no matter how hard you work.
That's all. Yeah, exactly.
So, if you're a janitor because you like doing it during the day, sure.
I don't think anyone likes it.
Yeah, sure, right? But you got to put your 100% into something that you can grow in and have unlimited cap, whether that's real estate, whether that's stock trading like we do, like whatever it is, you got to stop pussyfooting around.
Exactly.
With trading, you can't come into trading and load that $2,000 Robinhood account, as we've referenced a few times, and think that you're going to be rich after 3 weeks, right? And you might not even be rich after 3 years or 9 years or whatever it is if you don't put your all in. Yeah. You put your all in and it paid. You kept learning. You kept grinding. I put my all in and it paid. I kept learning. I kept grinding. But a lot of people want to take the shortcut route. And reality is like in trading, you just can't do that because you and I are like, if there's 3 of us in the room, trading is a zero-sum game. So someone's going to lose, right? You and I working hard as hell, refusing to fucking lose. And third person right there, like, we're going to eat you alive, because we're going to learn. We're going to know when to buy and sell. We're going to know when to short. So the whole point of this is saying that if you want to make it in trading, like you've said, like I've said, you got to be all in.
Have you always had this mindset? Sometimes, people hit me up and they say, hey, Sean, I look up to you because you have this positive energy and this positive kind of driven mindset. Have you always had this mindset that you have now, or did it take something for you to kind of flip that switch?
Dude, for me, I feel like it was always in me. I grew up pretty poor, right? I say that with like, people have it much worse than I had. So I get it. Everyone has a sad story. Single mom, the whole deal. But I grew up in East Lincoln. Well, in East Lincoln, everyone's parents were doctors and lawyers. So like, I grew up being like, damn, like my life sucks. Like they all got the nice clothes and the nice cars. I had my 1990 Grand Prix to start out, just a little old beater car. And basically all I wanted as a kid was to be rich. But like, it took me to really activate that in me. It took me till I was around like 20. Like I made some really dumb financial decisions before age 20, even like age 20 and 21. And I feel like for me, like the lighting factor was first coming into some money around like 2021, like getting this first few $1,000 checks, those first few $1,000 days. And I'm like, damn, like this is make or break for me. Like I didn't have a college degree. I dropped out of high school, got my GED, went to 2 years of college, was like 12 credit hours away from an associate's degree. Didn't graduate either, right? Was like, this is useless. Like I don't want to work. I personally did not want to work a 9 to 5. It's like you said, like if you want to do that, great. But like, I was like, I'm destined for more.
Yeah.
Same thing as you said. And I was like, for me, trading was like, there was no plan B. It was like, I'm going to do this or I am fucked. Like I'm going to be a loser if I don't do this. And I don't want to be a loser. No. I don't want to lose in sports. I don't want to lose in trading. I don't want to look in the mirror and be like, damn, like they're what my teacher said I was going to be. Like you said in the very start of this, my teacher said I was going to fail. A lot of people I grew up with said I was going to fail. So it was like, if I don't succeed at this, I am going to be what they said I was going to be. And that's not a fucking option. So I'm going to win and we're going to make this work. And that was like kind of like what lit my fire.
Yeah, no, I love that. One big thing you kind of stated right there was the make or break. And that's how I feel like a lot of traders have to put their mindset right now, even for the traders or even the people out there that are comfortable and saying to themselves, oh, hey, I have my 9 to 5 job. They realize deep down right now, are they actually comfortable? Is this what you actually want to do right now? Because to me, I feel like, again, having that is my safety net. I can always go get a 9 to 5. I can always fall back to that. So many people are scared to then take a step forward for what? So you fall back. If your worst thing happens, you fail, you go back to exactly where you started. The thing is, make or break is there is no going back. There is no going back when you keep climbing and climbing and climbing and climbing. I want to make sure that traders realize that, you have so much upside potential. You can only go up for the majority of people that are listening right now. How crazy is that to think about right now? Yeah, I got my 9 to 5. Yeah, I'm in tons of debt. Yeah, I got my credit card bills. Yeah, I have a mortgage. not going to go down any lower. What's going to happen to you? You learn how to start stock trading. You're going to go back to exactly where you started if things don't work out in any sort of way. You can literally only go up to from where you are. So it is kind of having that one mental block in your head where you have to realize, hey, you know what? I'm a loser at this moment. Let me again figure out how to be successful, and let me actually again start making a change in my life. The only time you're actually going to be successful is when you start making a change. Everyone wants to point a finger at you, point a finger at me, point a finger at that guy. Oh, I'm not successful because this happened. Everyone has their own fucking problems. Go ahead and get over them, you know?
And there's beauty in rock bottom. Like a lot of people have this perception, like rock bottom, my life's over. It's like, bro, if you're at rock bottom, whether that's in life or in trading, like you ain't got no lower to go.
Yeah.
Right? Like, what's the worst that's going to happen? You want to pick up trading, start learning. Your life sucks. You hate your job. You know, your dog won't stop barking at you, whatever the hell it is.
Your dog. Like, that thing has been barking at me for literally the last 10 hours.
Because it wants you to get off your ass and do something. That's what it wants you to do. No, but seriously, you have no lower to go. So I like how you put that. Just there's if you're at rock bottom, in whatever industry, trading, whatever, like, you know, like the Wolf of Wall Street, pick up the phone and start dialing.
Yeah.
Pick up the mouse and start learning.
So let me ask you, what's on your future plans? What's next for Team Bull? What's next? You know, what do you want?
I think what's next for myself and Team Bull is obviously I'm having a kid in August, so I think that's going to dramatically shift my life. I'm not sure how yet. I love trading. In the foreseeable future, I will be trading. Now, I'm not sure, like you talked about, the market adapts. You know, whether that be, you know, shorting low float pennies, or it be, you know, options, or, you know, it be trading the downside if we have this big recession, or if we have the next huge bull market. Like, things change. You know, maybe I'll go back into swing trading more. Maybe it'll be day trading still. No one can tell what the market's going to do, but I think trading will be a part of it. I love real estate. I love lending, love investing. And, you know, like you, I'm an entrepreneur too. Like, I like building brands. I love fitness. It's like trading's cool. Like, I love trading. It's given me a base to do a lot of really cool things, but I don't know. I really like motivating people too. I love fitness, and
I always relate, you know, stock trading or success or entrepreneurship to fitness all the time, because I do feel like they're kind of hand in hand
for sure.
Hand in hand. You know, if you want to think about it, you know, think about me as your trainer, and I can go ahead, I can write you a diet plan. I can go ahead and I can write you the workout. I don't know one person in the world. There's not one person in the world that if you write them out a diet plan that's correct, and you write them out a workout plan, and they show up 7 days out of the week and they do it, there's no way, it's impossible for them not to eventually get fit if they actually follow it. But then they look at it and they say, man, I'm a little sore today. Guys, I got to, again, you know, throw in a little bit of sour Skittles, maybe eat a couple Twinkies here and there. It's where we start cutting corners. It's literally impossible. It's literally impossible to follow a diet plan, go to the gym every single day, actually do the workouts, and not come out fit. It's almost the same exact thing with stock trading. If you will go ahead and you listen and you learn and you watch lessons and you watch live streams and you take to what we're saying, there's no way that you're not going to be successful. The only way that you wouldn't be is if you start cutting corners. Hey, the trainer's not here. Jdun's not right here. Someone throw me that fucking Twinkie. I'm starving. You know, like, the thing is, like, if at the end of the day, if you're not in shape, it's most likely, not going to say in every single case, there are some rare cases, it's your fault. If you're not successful, it's your fault.
And it's just like trading, like to a T. And where most traders screw up is, let's say we're on our diet plan, we're on our workout plan, in that Friday where you're just so, you know, your cravings are going crazy, you're feeling lazy, you're feeling tired, you want to eat 3 Twinkies, you want to skip the gym. Eating 3 Twinkies or skipping the gym is the equivalent to you taking that huge loss in trading. Like, you can't slip up on that stuff. But if you show up every day, 7 days a week, and you eat healthy, you go to the gym, like, you're gonna get in shape, just like with trading. You're going to become a better trader, but it doesn't happen overnight. You don't eat good for a week and go to the gym for a week and you're, you know, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
And people don't like to have that patience. So the ones that do, you've seen it happen to hundreds of your students. I've seen it happen to hundreds of my students. They get it, but it's not an overnight success. And in fitness and in trading, people both want that.
Yeah. Always compare your trading to fitness, and how often do you see results? You probably see results 3 months in. Probably 90 days in is the actual change. No one sees any change whatsoever in their trading results within a week. All you are with fitness is sore, tired, and you don't want to go back. Trading is the same exact thing. I feel like I'm overwhelmed. I'm full of anxiety, and I don't know what's even I'm looking at these screens. Put in another week. Start seeing a little bit. Put in another week. Next thing you know, you put a side-by-side comparison. Think about right now how much you learned in the stock market from where you were last year. Just myself, even again, being in the market for 8-9 years, I look back and I say, man, I can't believe I didn't know that stuff. I can't believe I know this now. every single new trader, when they think back to, again, year one, when they're on year two, they're like, how was I even possible making money in any sort of way? How was I even profitable? It's like, I know so much. It's the greatest thing about education. There's no ceiling. There's no limits.
None. That's the best thing about trading. You know, like you didn't want to be capped by a job. I didn't either. And it paid nicely. So something else I want to touch on too, switching, you know, turning right a little bit in this is some other things trading's gotten for you. I think when I first saw you, you had a Ferrari, maybe, or a McLaren. You've had a Ferrari, McLaren, and recently a Lamborghini that you sold to also help fund the Airbnb, correct? Because you didn't want to have liabilities.
Correct.
Totally understand. I feel that once you, like, the Lamborghini's fun. I have a Urus too, and it's cool for a while, but eventually, you know, after you have all these cars, you've had a ton of supercars. It gets a little. I guess I want you to explain it. How'd it feel having trading by, you know, your McLaren, your Ferrari, your Lamborghini, and what kind of pushed you past that phase, or, like, you know, where are you at now?
The supercar phase is awesome. Like, it's great. Growing up, I always wanted a supercar. I feel like every guy did. You know, every kid grows up with some sort of car on their wall or video game they played, and they say, I want that. And don't get me wrong, it's an amazing thing. First car I bought was a McLaren 570S, and doors going on up. You feel like the man. I can't believe I accomplished this. I can't believe that I was able to purchase this car. Something that you never think that you were ever going to purchase in your life. But then after a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you realize I'm literally driving around a $160,000, $170,000 car. This money could be in my bank account right now doing something else. I feel like this money's out of my bank and into this car, and every single time I drive this, every single mile just gets a little bit less expensive. It just starts depreciating a little bit more. But at the same time, hey, you know what? I own this car. I have this. This is absolutely awesome. I love this. So then what I like to do a lot of times is, because I do enjoy cars and I do like them and I do feel like they're fun. But at the same time, the moment I buy my car, same day, I go home and I put it on all the sites for sale. I put it on Car Gurus. I put it on cars.com. I put it on everything. And I just put it on for $10,000 more than what I bought it. Leave it up there. And you know what? I leave it up there for 2, 3, 4, 5 months. Sometimes, again, it never gets a hit. Sometimes, again, it gets hits all the time. And eventually, someone's going to message you and going to say, hey, I'll take your car, or I'll buy your car, and you negotiate a price. Maybe, again, you give them off $5,000. Maybe you give them off $10,000. You're giving away the car for the same price that you got it from.
And you got to drive it. So, again, my Ferrari that I've had a McLaren 570S, I had a Ferrari 458, and I've had a Lamborghini Huracan. Every single one of those, I've either sold them at the same exact price or I've sold them more. Because the thing is, I throw them on the internet, I throw them out there on Car Gurus or whatever, and I always put them 10, 15K more. Someone, again, comes on in and says, I'm going to lowball this guy. Throws out, an offer, 10K less. I say, yeah, you got it. No big deal. I made $5,000 profit and just had a supercar for the last 6 months straight. Now, yes, the only thing I had to pay was for, again, the taxes or when I first registered it. Other than that, you're good to go. So again, when people ask, how do I have like these cars? How did I, be able to have this Lamborghini and the Ferrari and the McLaren? All I've been doing is basically having free rent on these cars the entire time. I'm not a collector. I'm not going to collect these cars and hold them on forever. I literally take 170K, put it again up for 185K, hold it for a while. Someone hits me up. Hey, I'll give you 177K. Boom, done. You got it. Just had a free McLaren for the last 6 months. I never knew you did that. That's awesome. Like, I knew you had the cars, obviously, but I never knew that
That's how I'm always rotating. I just do that.
And honestly, once you have once you have a supercar for X amount of time, people like us, I guess, you want something new. You want to you don't want to hold on to that for 2, 3, 4, 5 years.
Yeah. And then at this point, I'm never going to say that I'm not going to have another supercar again. I would love to at some point, have another supercar because they are fun and they're exciting. And I love again, pulling into my garage, beeping it, turning away, looking at it, looking at that fine ass and then going in the house.
Sexy.
And then you walk away. And it is great to also be able to say, wow, look what I've been able to accomplish. It is always a reminder every single day, walking out to that car and saying to yourself, wow, look what I've been able to accomplish, which is, absolutely great. But at the same time, I sold my Lamborghini. And that's, again, the money that I put down on my Utah house. So the thing is, I started saying to myself, do I want to own a depreciating asset or do I want to have an appreciating asset? That house, as I already stated, it brings in $180,000 a year. No matter what I do with this Lamborghini, it's never going to bring me $180,000 a year for the rest of my life and only appreciate even more on top of that. Cars are not great investments. They're not. And I know, again, some people would be like, well, what about my 1967 Mustang? It's like cars are not great investments for the long term. They're great at times. They're fun. And I love them. Real estate's better.
And I think the only I only have one objection to what you said.
Okay.
I agree. They're not money wise terrible investments. Sometimes if you get like an Aventador or something, like, you can get certain select cars that go up in value. Other than that, terrible investments 99% of the time. The only positive investment I've seen, like for example with my Lamborghini, was the networking part. I'm curious if you ever used yours in your time doing that for that. Like for example, with my Lamborghini, took it to the mall one time, had my Instagram on it. I've had people message me like, hey man, like saw your car. What do you do for a living? I trade. Oh, well, I do real estate. Let's connect. And I've personally met some of my biggest real estate connections just because of that car, which in reality, if I didn't have that car, those people that also have a Lamborghini probably wouldn't have given me, 2 seconds of time. So that's the only time
I like that.
I like to like put that differing perspective out that like, I agree money wise. Like if you're not an entrepreneur, if you don't have any ambition of growing your social media or, expanding your network, then a car is the biggest waste of fucking money you could ever imagine.
Yeah.
That's it. If you're just driving it to feel cool, yeah, it's fun for a little bit. Sure. If you make it big and you want to spend that for fun, sure. But like, unless you're doing that stuff, big waste of money. If you're networking, from my experience, at least, I've made a lot of good connections.
That is an excellent point. That is an excellent point, especially just because in today's world, everyone needs to have, I feel like if you want to kind of go to that next level, you kind of have to have that status. You have to have that next level where people want to talk to you. And a lot of times, even though it is all materialistic, people want to look for that. I honestly, at the end of the day, I don't care about anything materialistic. I really don't. Like, I would rather be out in my house in the country in Pennsylvania and just, again, be playing catch with my dog. Like, I enjoy that a ton. I enjoy doing things along those lines. But a lot of times, again, when you do drive this nice car, people show you more respect. People are saying, hey, are extremely nice to you. It's kind of crazy in the world that we live in. Just if you roll up with a car that's over 6 figures, if you have a Ferrari or a Lamborghini, people treat you so much differently. People have come up to me, shaking my hand. I've gone out to restaurants before where, again, my family or friends are in the car behind me. And then again, a valet comes up to me, hey, shakes my hand, say, hey, can we take this car for you? The manager comes on out. Let me give you a special seat. It comes out at the very end, gives us free dessert. Why? Because I have this car?
Because your car.
Yeah, it's nuts. It's so crazy to think about that people are going to treat you so much differently just because I have this car. What if I have this ginormous mansion, but again, drive a beater, the humble Honda, right?
Humble Honda, baby.
Yeah. It's like, people, it's very, very, very easy to kind of, get first impressions on someone immediately.
It is. It's a crazy world. And that's just like an angle I wanted to bring up because it's, we like to talk about obviously trading on this, but all things entrepreneurship and money. So on that topic, I want to wrap up here, but I want to ask you one more question to leave our audience with. If you were starting all over again, if you're listening to this, a lot of people are listening, maybe they traded for a few months or a few years, or maybe they don't even know what a stock is. What would you give your beginner self as advice? And if you had to do it all over again, 20-year-old Sean, how's it going down?
Yeah, no, there's so much information, like kind of.
That's a very broad question, but it's like if you had to sum it up, like maybe some things you did wrong or you would do differently, or now that now you would do better, how would you restart and what would you do differently?
The thing is, it's like everything that I've gone through, I'm extremely grateful for, and I really don't want to change that in any sort of way. Like so many people hit these hurdles and they feel like it's the end of it. But the moment you're about to quit is the moment that you jump over that hurdle and you strive so much farther than you actually thought you were going to. There were times, and there's probably times with you as well, that I just said, I really don't know if I can make trading my living. I really don't know if this is truly possible for me.
Oh yeah.
Business, real estate. Was this actually a good call? And then you work through it. You figure it out. Without any sort of pain, there's not going to be any sort of growth. So when it comes down to, again, my trading, probably the number one thing that I would say that did hurt me though was having an ego, as in saying to myself, hey, I am not going to accept this loss. We're talking about a lot of these motivational things right now. Don't accept failure. Don't accept losses. Keep working. And then you apply that to your trading. And then it's like, oh, I'm not going to be a loser. Boom, I'm buying, holding. Be willing to understand losses are going to happen. We've talked on this, but no matter if we had an entire hour podcast of us just repeating losses are going to happen, just manage them, it's still, again, not going to be enough. You must realize stop losses are okay. A loss is okay. Just not blowing up your account, that's not okay. If you, again, invest $1,000 and you lose, again, $50, $100 at most, it's okay as long as your wins are going to be $200, $300. But don't be a person that says, nope, I'm not accepting a loss. I'm going to win nonstop every single day. And then again, that ends up blowing your account up, and that's going to be your downfall. Basically there's two sides of a new trader, I believe. It's either, if we think about a spectrum, we either have the overconfident trader who again is trading nonstop, never sells, or we have the fearful trader, the trader that never gets on in. You have to find the middle ground. Never be the guy who's trading nonstop every day, can't help himself. He's going until he blows it up all. Or again, the other trader over here who's saying, I'm just a little too scared. I knew that was going to be right, but I'm just a little too nervous. You have to be able to not have, let's say, fear, and you can't have greed. You must have confidence, and you must have discipline. Those are two different things that we have to, again, be able to find the middle ground towards.
And applying that as a new trader, I love how you just put that, is probably the number one thing. Understanding there's going to be losses. Ego is going to be an issue. It is for everybody. It just is, right? And maybe not in your traditional sense. Like, a lot of people are like, I don't have an ego. Like, but all right, well, when you're in that trade, you don't want to sell. What is that? So you don't want to feel like a loser. You don't want to feel like an idiot.
Yeah.
You don't want to lose. So I love how you put that, and I think that's extremely good advice.
Let me turn that to you, though.
So for me, if I had to choose one thing I would tell traders, or my past self, like first starting out, $5,000 account, been learning for a while before that, it would probably be, and this sounds super cliche and generic, but like, don't rush the process, right? Like, I took it a little slow at the start. Once I first started like getting in, making some slow money, I was all about the money. And in reality, like, I probably could have scaled up my trading much faster had I focused more on being more diversified in my education, really dialing down my education from the start. I was lackluster at first. I would learn, then I'd stop learning, and then I would do this, I'd do that. And I didn't take it 100% at the start. And that was my problem. So I could have expedited my learning curve dramatically and made way more money, way faster in retrospect. Not saying it's get rich quick. I'm just saying I would have made more in retrospect much faster had I expedited my learning curve. And I would tell myself, go in, invest as much as you can in education, take the process slow, but live every day and trade every day with purpose. Learn every day. Journal your trades more. I eventually had a few notebooks. I'd write down my watch list every day, my P&L, how I felt, everything with trading day, would write down pen and paper. But I didn't do that for a while. So if I'd go back, I would do that from day one. I would keep myself accountable, wins and losses. And I think that's what I would tell 20-year-old me to do again.
I like that a lot. And I'm also going to just, put this out there. I think journaling your trades is extremely important. The most and the best feedback that I've ever gotten from journaling my trades are actually from recording my trades. I personally suggest every single person buy a webcam, buy $40, $50 webcam, not that expensive. Download OBS. It's a free broadcasting software. You can record your screen, you can record yourself, and you don't got to stream it out to anyone, but you're just recording yourself trade. And when you rewatch your trade, it is going to be the most embarrassing thing that you could possibly do, because you are going to watch yourself, you're going to watch your emotions, you're going to be watching what you're going to be doing, and you're going to be screaming at yourself saying, what are you thinking? You're going to remember those emotions that you're going through and what you were thinking at the time, and you are going to become much better. Same exact thing as a professional athlete. NFL teams, NHL teams, NBA teams, usually the day after games, they have film. They, again, sit back, they watch what they did right and what they did wrong. If we don't know what we're doing wrong, we're never going to be able to correct it. So you have to download OBS, get a webcam at $50, record yourself trade, rewatch it. That's the best way to be able to gain knowledge and education on your trading.
That's beautiful advice. Beautiful advice. And I've done this a lot of times too. You go back and you watch it and you're like, Jdun, what were you thinking? Why'd you get out there? Why'd you buy there? And it really puts it in perspective. I love that advice.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's so important for anyone from a large account to a small account. And, that's why, personally, I think it also tests yourself, especially if you're a brand new, experienced trader who trades full time. Drop down to a small account. See if you can do it. Switch things up. It's very important to be able to try a new strategy, see what works, see what doesn't work.
So with that, we're going to wrap up here. Sean has been amazing. You have provided so much value to the trading community just in these last hour, 2 hours. It's been incredible. I can't wait to see how much you help retail traders across the land. Say F you to that life that they don't need to live anymore. Say F you maybe to that 9 to 5 one day, and to learn in real time with you, from this, from other services you provide, and overall just getting to experience real trading with someone who's actually made money with it, with proof. So thank you so much for coming on the show.
Hey, Thank you so much, everyone. Again, smash that thumbs on up and make sure you subscribe to this channel right now. Shout out to Jdun.
And maybe we'll do part 2 sometime, but for that to even be in the discussion, need at least 300 comments below. So comment what you liked, your favorite thing to learn, what you learned from Sean, what you learned from myself. If there's 300 plus and a whole lot of likes, maybe we'll schedule part 2 and give you guys some more value. So thank you for coming, and
thanks, man.
Appreciate you, bro.